Yeah, so you're at the top of the stairs, and the abominations are like coming down. You've already been in the chamber with Duradam, and they start to like retreat down the stairs as this thing comes along. And while they're all, sort of dealing with that and being distracted, I don't know if you like phase shift or you're doing something with the body of the dwarven Azarak that had fallen. But you're kind of like enveloped in a misty, dark kind of cloud, and all of a sudden you're like not in the realm, the reality that you were in just a moment ago.
Okay.
So you're in a kind of phew, and you'll recognize the sensation because you've done these kind of things before. That you're like being taken into a pocket dimension, but you're caught unawares. You weren't expecting to be sucked into a pocket dimension. And you're just like looking around, and maybe you and just the body of Azarak that you're beside are the only two things that have been absorbed into this pocket dimension. And when you turn around to look around and see what's happened, there's the tall, wispy, black mist of a figure that is Valakar, which is the other warden, the one from the Nether Realm.
Yeah, I remember him. It's Elvish Lady and Azarek.
Valakar, yeah. So usually a long, shrouded, robed kind of figure with not even a face, just like a cloud where his face should be. And like the curls at the bottom of his robe suggest kind of wispy tentacles rather than feet, but you don't really see any like limbs or anything from him that would define as a human. He's very much of another realm originally.
And I find myself beside him in pocket dimension.
Yes, just a silent. You recognise one. You know these pocket dimensions can exist. Very powerful sorcerers can create them. Malekith was kept in one as a prison before. The Shadow Realm, and indeed the realm that your wardens use for their citadel, is in its own pocket dimension that was created for that purpose. So I'm thinking that they don't exist very long usually. And it takes a lot of knowledge and power to create one. But you've been sucked into one this time, and it's just this sort of wispy dark void that doesn't really have any physical substance. Valakar glides over without saying a word, and like leans down and extends like one of his robed arms towards Azarak's body and places his hand on his forehead. It would seem that our order has decreased in number yet again, Ryze.
Indeed. It's only 3 of us now.
The motionless cloud of Valakar doesn't nod or shake, doesn't have any expression on this faceless face that he has. So it's always hard to tell, what he's thinking or what he might be like, gearing up to announce or say. It's hard to anticipate what's going to come from his lips.
Well, you are the one that has been the most. Do you even have some plan about restoring the wardens, or are we just gonna die off?
Everything comes to an end at some point, Ryze. Nothing lasts forever. Not even this universe in which all these realms exist. Its time will come at one point as well. It's the job of the Wardens just to maintain the balance and extend the lifetime of this universe as long as we can. That was the purpose why I created this order originally.
Are we really not needed anymore?
We will always be needed, or rather, the order will always be needed, I believe. But for us ourselves, as we have seen with your fate cut short, our purpose can only last for so long, and we must be replaced. And I fear that time is now closing in on us in the current phase of this order, and it will be time to start anew.
And how will that happen? What is going to happen with the wardens, with the citadel? But what are you talking about?
Let us leave our brother here for now. I have some things to show you.
Ryze will follow.
He doesn't make any gestures. He doesn't do anything. The pocket dimension just kind of like fades away, and you're standing on a massive sheet of ice that extends in every direction to the horizon. To one side in the distance, you can see dark storm clouds and lightning, but the rest of the way is just ice. There's no wind, there's no clouds in the sky. The sky is a very dark turquoise teal kind of colour. And the ice below you is not covered in frost or snow. It's just like transparent glass, cold to the touch. And you can see below just like faint glowing blue orbs trapped in the ice below you, all around. There must be hundreds, if not thousands of them trapped below in the ice.
What is this place?
This is one of the realms in which our kind, despite our powers, do not venture. It is a realm that exists not for travel or communication. This is the Sea of Souls. This is where all souls go when they have no other destination. And this Sea of Souls is the lifeblood of the universe.
And why are you showing me that exactly?
He raises one robed arm to point towards the storm clouds and the lightning in the distance. This should be an ocean, free flowing, with the life force, the blood of the universe surging through it, powering everything that happens. But instead, the influence of Malekith has emanated through into this realm, and in doing so, he has been freezing the Sea of Souls, trapping the elements that power everything, so that he may wield their power and harvest it for himself.
That is... Well, I don't know what to say.
Yes, so he points and explains that Malekith's influence has been freezing the Ocean of Souls.
For how long do you know that? For how long do you know this is happening?
This has been happening since his re-entrance to the material realm, since he began slaughtering thousands in his conquest. But the greater danger here is not Malekith himself per se, Ryze, but it's the effect that locking this energy source in place will have on the universe itself. What do you know of the Void?
Well, that's the realm I avoid. Everybody knows that. Stay away from the void. There's nothing for us there.
Yes, the Void is the chasm at the bottom of the Tree of Realms, as it were. A pitchless blackness that nothing escapes from, or at least it's not supposed to. You've been investigating the Mages Guild and their interference in our business and watching the realms. But what if I told you that the Mages Guild had sent a party of interlopers who passed through each of the realms in turn, disrupting the gateways between them, creating openings, slipways, portals, so that other powers and intelligences could move between them, disrupting the balance, the order that we've so hard to keep.
I have heard rumors about secret mission, Mages Guild, but I didn't think it was true.
Yes, these interlopers have descended all the way to the Void, took a living soul from the Void where it should have remained, and indeed opposed an opponent that I had created as a safeguard against one of the greatest dangers to the universe itself. You see, In the void lurks one of the oldest of intelligent beings, a deity called Kronos. And Kronos is entropy incarnate. He is, or it is, the thing that will end the universe in its entirety. It's a being that is patient and all-powerful, but it is trapped in its void realm until, everything fades and eventually falls to the void itself, and only then could it reach out and develop and destroy everything. But these interlopers have disrupted this. They've punctured holes in the walls between the realms. And I fear that what Malekith is doing here, by freezing the lifeblood of the universe, is only adding to this problem and will accelerate the end times, the true death of the universe.
Well, I don't even know why would Mages Guild do such a stupid thing. Maybe they are not aware of that. I don't know. I was always suspicious of Mages Guild. And you know what? I'm wondering, since you know my destiny, you know about my curse, why are you telling me all of this? And why are you telling me now? I'm just a petty soul compared to all of this that you're mentioning about.
Each of these beings causing these problems are petty souls in their own right. None of them on their own would lead to the much cause for concern, but as the coincidences line up and overlap each other, that we are led to this path of destruction. And as such, Ryze, a soul such as yours can make decisions and perform actions that can have a domino effect, and perhaps lead to a reversal, or at least a slowing down of the path that we've been led along. You currently seek, the tablet to help bind Malekith, and that may slow down or, halt his process for a time. But what might be more important is to ensure that when he is imprisoned, that his soul is sent to the void, where it can be kept in check. If he's imprisoned in a pocket dimension again, there is always a possibility he will escape again. Of course, the only safe way to transport a soul between realms is to make use of a conduit. And the most useful of conduits you have experience with, the half-demon.
Are you suggesting that this time Malekith is not imprisoned, rather being sent into the void itself?
I mean, he must be bound, as before. But when he is bound, rather than creating a temporary prison which will only hold him for a certain length of time, he should be vanquished to the void and fed to the hungry beast that lurks there. Otherwise, his soul will simply enter a different realm and cause trouble again.
And with all of the knowledge you possess, are you sure that there isn't some way to destroy his soul, to kill Malekith once and for all?
To kill him would just be open up a path for the soul to travel to one of the many deities that he's a patron of. No, what must be done is he must be marked, tarnished, so that his soul, when he is slain, when he is bound, can only go in one direction, and that is down to the deepest black of the realms.
And for that, we need a half-demon. And guess what? You probably know who's in my company. That's why you brought me here, right?
Precisely. The half-demon is already shown to be a powerful artifact, Malekith's forces have already wielded him once to open a portal from the Nether Realm and allow a demonic force to travel through to the Material Realm. And even now, your party members are at the Obsidian Gate, which is what Valakar has gifted Hypnos and Malekith in order for them to extend their reach between the realms. A crucifix, a highway, a meeting point where different realms will merge and one may pass from one to another without challenge.
I must say, this half-demon Drakan, he is different from others of his kind. I must say that this is the first time I've been encountered a demonic blood, but there is more to him. There is a humane part of him.
And that humane part is what makes him so special. As a being with a soul in both realms simultaneously, he's in a unique position to allow others to traverse the realms.
And then, what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting me to do?
When the time comes and the opportunity presents itself, you'll have to make use of all the tools at your disposal to ensure that Hypnos and his master are both tarnished, are both marked, so that their souls may pass through to whichever realm they are ushered in. I will always be on hand watching to make sure that when the time is right, Malekith's soul is directed in the direction where we need it to go. But if it's not marked, then it will not pass through.
And how do I mark?
The method is not entirely clear to me. Drakan has already been used, as I said, using a magical artifact to channel energies to allow a whole army to pass through him. I'm not sure if he himself possesses the ability to do it at will, as some of his kind does, including Hypnos. But it could be that you will need to use his blood, or perhaps even release his life force and then capture it in order to use it to mark Malekith.
I must say, at first your idea sounded good, but now it sounds like a far stretch. I'm running out of time. I've seen it. I've seen it, brother. I'm close. Death could be at every corner lurking for me. And Drakan, he's not the right person for conversation, especially something like this. I don't think I will be able to get to him. But maybe I should first gather information if he does possess some kind of knowledge about his potential.
Of course, it would be wise to study him and ensure the most suitable means to use his power for our intended purpose. Malekith's general is also such a creature, or at least was in the past. I believe he is. The demonic side of him is taking control. But perhaps there will be a way to link the two, and therefore link through Hypnos' master and the relationship they already share. In regards to your own destiny, and indeed the destiny of our order, it will be time to start anew, afresh, and that will require leadership. And of course, you will not be around to do so, Ryze. But you have the gauntlets still, yes?
No, I have given away the gauntlet. I haven't told you that.
There's like a pause, and although he doesn't have any emotions or features to read, you can tell that there's there's a hesitation that could perhaps be annoyance.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You have given it away. Pray tell, who did you give it to?
It was one of the noblest souls. It was Princess Luna of the Fae.
She who escaped the void.
Wait. So she's the one.
She's the one who the Mages Guild sent and retrieved from the void. I am highly suspicious of her ulterior motives.
What do you mean by that?
Why would the Mages Guild interfere, as you have said? Why would they send anyone to retrieve the soul of an elf from the void? And why would she even want the artifact such as the gauntlet?
Mm.
No,
Yes,
this is a development that I am not pleased about, I must say, Ryze. We will need to at some point in the future retrieve the gauntlet as the other artifacts so that we can use them to shape destiny for our future kin, our future brothers who will lead the new order.
well, she already mentioned that the other artifact is in possession of their ally, a mage. So maybe they are already close to combining the three of them, the three artifacts.
Then perhaps I will need to study these mages more closely.
Indeed, all of this even started with my first mission, and that was to investigate the possible corruption inside of the Mages Guild. And it quickly grew into so much more. It led to this. Who knows what's really the agenda of Mages Guild? They have become more distant and secretive since Malekith's appearance. Their numbers also, well, they're not so high as they used to be. There is some talks that when the time comes, some of them will even join the fight on the side of the Malekith. Brother, the times have never been so.
Bleak.
There is, yeah. I don't know who to trust anymore. I don't know who's a friend or foe.
I would say at this time, the only people we can trust are ourselves, the three of us. And it will be up to us to make sure we can raise a new order for our legacy to be carried on. Because I fear my own time is also limited. It's been a long, long time coming, but I can feel myself fraying at the edges. This exertion in tracking Volkor and his misgivings, his malpractice, has been most taxing.
Yes, still we have Volkor, Hypnos, Malekith. There is so much happening, and there is only three of us. We lost two brothers in less than a week. I'm afraid that my fear is growing that we won't be able to carry out the mission.
And yet we must, or at least we must give our all in trying to do so. For if we do not, who else will take our place? Who else is there who has the access we do? Who has the overview we do of this universe in its entirety and the multiple realms that it envelops? Each of these mortals, demons, they're only concerned with their own petty existences. They're not seeing the greater picture. But it's up to you and I, Ryze, to hold it together.
Yes. Well, let's take it step by step. I think we are approaching Valakar. My allies, I believe they are currently in the Underdark. They're marching towards Karak. And you know what's gonna happen there. We might stumble upon Valakar, Hypnos, who knows what. It will be one of the biggest battles, one of the most important battles in this whole war. And brother, we don't have an army. I don't know who's gonna fight on our behalf, but dwarves must not lose this fight. Valakar must be stopped. Hypnos as well. And I'm pretty sure that the Karak forces aren't enough for that. There are hordes of demons, there are hordes of abominations. And there is nobody even close to the Dwarven Mountains who could appear as allies. I'm not sure. I'm definitely doubting that we can pull it off.
And yet our concern is not limited to the activities in Karak or indeed to Hypnos. What we must ensure, Ryze, is that ultimately Malaka's soul is tarnished so that when the time comes, he can be vanquished. The Sea of Souls can be released and the lifeblood of the universe can flow once more. What happens within the mortal realm itself, tragic as it may be, as long as we can keep it limited to the mortal realm and not to upset the balance of the others, the greater picture will be maintained.
You might be right. If we are already losing this battle, we might as well do some damage. And where it's important, tarnish the Malekith's soul.
The party members, once they reach the Obsidian Gate, you should see the gateway, as I've already explained, where the realms are merging, where they're able to cross over, and this is where Hypnos and indeed Malekith are drawing much of their power, allowing forces to travel through from other realms, and eventually they'll be able to use this to extend their reach out into even more realms. For us, this is of the utmost importance, not just because this is Valkar's doing and we must undo his traitorous acts, but because we must maintain the stability of the realms, and to keep them secured from each other. I believe once you manage to correct this heinous crime the Valakar has created, it should strengthen your position at Karak, at least.
That's right. As long as there is a resistance. And brother, this hasn't been good. I don't recall we ever had a conversation like that. But I'm gonna heed to your advice. I think I don't want to be able to do that, but I'm gonna try to gather information about Drakan. And if he doesn't know anything, what should I do? How should I approach this situation?
You need to use your judgment, Ryze. if you're friends with this Dracan, perhaps you can appeal to his human nature. But always be aware that half of his soul is demonic and will err on the side of hatred and anger. You may have to employ deceit and manipulation to move him in the direction that you need him to, or if can be, use your force.
Okay, meanwhile, can you learn as much as you can about possible use of Half Demon? Meanwhile, I'm gonna learn if he knows anything. Then we can decide together.
I will refer to my studies and search the histories to try and determine the best way to utilize him. Yes.
Okay, and when you gather information, I will do as much as I can to get most out of it.
Raises one unrolled arm up and a kind of salute across his chest. And as for Valakar, I believe justice will be in order.
I will execute his soul.
We cannot allow the traitor to continue to tarnish our order's name.
No more. Valakar is going down. I'm getting close to him. In this face-off, I'm going to execute him for all the crimes he did.
He produces a small onyx gem. It's kind of oval shaped. It's maybe like an inch long. You're not sure where he's pulled it from. It just kind of appears at the end of his robed arm and he extends it over to you. When you remove his life force, his soul from his corporeal form, you can trap it in this gem.
And then
he will spend eternity in a prison from which he cannot be released.
Okay, brother. I think I had enough. I must say, before we depart, when I was using the gauntlet, I've seen you in many different forms. I've seen you taking many different paths. I might sound convinced and be happy by your side, heeding to your advice, to your leadership. After all, you're one of the eldest. But that gauntlet, I will be blunt, my brother. I still have my doubts about you. Like I said,
as well you should.
I should.
It was only a fool who would trust someone completely, especially in times such as these.
Maybe you're right. Well, the time will tell who's who and who stands where.
Indeed it shall, brother. I will leave you now.
Farewell.
I wish you the best of luck on your journey.
Yes, and of course, if you learn something, keep me updated.
He kind of gives you a half bow, and then his whole form just like swirls in smoke and disappears. The icy terrain and the dark turquoise sky around you just like swirls in a mist at the same sort of point, and you find yourself alone in the Underdark. All around you are like, they look like brains with crab legs, just sort of like scorched and burnt, and the smell of burning flesh all around them. You can see like a campfire that's been extinguished. And you looked as if you're in the ruins of a dwarf fortress. Extending outwards are just the caverns of the Underdark, softly illuminated by the bioluminescence of the fungus and the small creatures that live in the shallow pools on the rocky floor. And you can hear voices in the distance, and it sounds like the voices of your comrades, just echoing through the cavern.
Well, Ryze is silently, worriedly. He's gonna regroup with the rest of them.
And that's where we'll pick up tomorrow.
Nice.
Told you mostly exposition, but I just wanted to do the filler so we knew like what happened to him.
Yeah, it was cool. And I mean, Ryze has many things going on, and it came unexpectedly, but yeah, as a Realm Warden, he should be concerned not only with the mortal realm, especially in the situation like this. If they're already gonna lose, at least they can make something out of it. At least preserve half demon that could be useful to establishing order between the realms again. And yeah, I think it's gonna be tricky with Rakan, and
yeah, it should be.
yeah, because I don't really think he knows anything about the rituals or magic behind it. Neither does my dear comrade, the Realm Warden. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly how we're gonna pull that off, marking the Hypnos. So if we mark the Hypnos, he's gonna come back. His soul is gonna travel back to the deity, to their patron.
I'm thinking
right?
you can like mark Malekith kind of like through Hypnos, like because they've got like some sort of kind of bond, and obviously they're servant and master, so he's gonna like owned by him. So I'm thinking like if you manage to mark Hypnos somehow, or get him involved in some sort of ritual anyway, and it kind of like transpires through.
Yeah, because Hypnos' energy will stick around to Malekith, and when the time comes, Malekith will not know that, and when the time comes,
I also didn't want to tie you into only being able to do like one thing. I kind of wanted it left open, so you can be creative about it.
Yeah, I mean it's really a tough choice because there is a Ryze is not so ambitious. His priority was stand with the dwarves and die with them as one of them. And this is, I think, a huge burden now, and I think he's torn between the sides and the seat, and who's he gonna trust? And yeah, it's
interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, we have a tough choice on a character who really don't want to be in a position to make tough and big choices like that.
But I mean that's the whole purpose of his order and why he kind of exists in the first place. So it makes sense that it kind of falls to him to do it, especially when all the other ones are dying off.
Yeah, it really makes sense. And this what's the name of this misty figure?
Valakar.
Valakar. Yeah, Valakar is Valakar. I'm under impression that he's something like Dumbledore. He has fingers in everything, and you really don't know where his allegiances stand, and if he's just doing some things for himself. He's an interesting character as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's supposed to like look like he's sketchy and evil and all that, but then it's like, is he really, or does he just look different.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he has his tentacles, a lot of stuff. It's gonna be interesting. Well, cool. And that last session, yeah, it was a filler, but it was fun. It was fun listening through.
I felt like I was just like throwing stuff at them, like it was kind of coming to me as we're going through it. I had some of it kind of down already beforehand, but they all seem to enjoy it. So
Yeah, and it was really fun listening about the Underdark again. I remember Underdark from the last campaign, and
yeah,
it's always coming back. Yeah.